In 1929, a dusty old bundle of parchment was discovered deep within the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, Turkey. At first glance, it seemed like any other ancient relic, fragile, faded, and forgotten by time. But as scholars unrolled the parchment and examined it closely, their excitement quickly turned to disbelief. The map before them seemed to depict something impossible: a detailed outline of the coasts of South America, a broken bar, and even the icy, frozen shores of Antarctica. The artifact became known as the Piri Reis Map, and it would soon spark one of the greatest historical mysteries of all time. The map was drawn in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral and cartographer named Piri Reis, a respected sailor, scholar, and explorer who served in the navy of Sultan Selim I. In his own notes on the map, Piri Reis claimed he compiled it using older source maps, some dating back to the time of Alexander the Great. But what made the map so extraordinary wasn't just its age, it was its accuracy. For a document drawn over 500 years ago, it showed the western coastlines of Africa and South America with astonishing precision, something that modern scientists could only fully verify with satellite imagery centuries later. Even more astonishing was that the Piri Reis map appeared to depict the Antarctic coastline not covered in ice, but as it would look ice-free. According to modern geology, the last time Antarctica's coast was ice-free was more than 6,000 years ago, long before any known civilization could have mapped it. How could a 16th century Ottoman sailor have access to such knowledge? To understand that, we must first look at who Piri Reis was. Born around 1465 in Gallipoli, Piri was the nephew of Kemal Reis, one of the most feared and famous naval commanders of the Ottoman Empire. Piri joined his uncle's fleet as a young man, sailing across the Mediterranean, capturing enemy ships, and gathering maps and charts from every port they visited. Over time, he built an extraordinary collection of ancient nautical documents. In his later years, Piri combined this knowledge into a comprehensive world map and meticulously noted the sources he used. Among them were Arab, Portuguese, Spanish, and even ancient Greek charts. He even mentioned using a map drawn by Christopher Columbus himself, a document that has since been lost to history. But even with these sources, one question remains: how did he draw something that wasn't even discovered yet? When the Piri Reis map was studied by scholars in the 20th century, including cartographers from the U.S. Air Force, they were baffled. The depiction of South America seemed almost perfect, even including the Andes Mountains, which weren't officially mapped until centuries later. In 1953, Captain Arlington H. Mallory, a U.S. naval expert in cartography, was among the first to analyze the map in depth. After comparing it with modern data, Mallory made a shocking claim: the map seemed to represent the Queen Maud Land region of Antarctica, but without its thick layer of ice. This discovery sent shockwaves through the academic world. If the Piri Reis map truly showed an ice-free Antarctica, it meant whoever had originally charted those coastlines did so thousands of years before the ice had formed, or they had technology far beyond what ancient civilizations were believed to possess. Some scientists tried to dismiss the claim, suggesting the southern lands might be distorted depictions of South America. But the accuracy of the coastal outlines was too precise to ignore. The map's projection and the way it represents the curved surface of the Earth on flat paper also matched a style that wouldn't be fully understood until centuries later, known as a spherical trigonometric projection. It was as if Piri Reis, or whoever created the original maps he copied from, had knowledge of the Earth's curvature long before it became accepted in mainstream cartography. But where could such knowledge have come from? This is where the mystery deepens. Some researchers believe the source maps Piri Reis used may have belonged to an ancient, forgotten civilization, one that had achieved a level of scientific advancement that rivaled even our modern understanding. Could these maps be remnants of Atlantean knowledge, surviving fragments from the mythical lost city of Atlantis that Plato wrote about over 2,000 years ago? It's an idea that has fascinated theorists for decades. According to Plato, Atlantis was a powerful maritime civilization that vanished beneath the waves around 9600 BCE, at roughly the same time Antarctica might have still been ice-free. Could ancient seafarers from such a civilization have mapped the world long before recorded history began? Even if we discard the Atlantis theory, other possibilities remain equally puzzling. Some suggest that early humans may have been far more capable navigators than we think, using sophisticated methods of celestial navigation to explore vast distances across the globe. Others propose that these ancient maps were preserved through secret channels, perhaps by scholars of Alexandria, or Muslim astronomers who inherited knowledge from earlier civilizations. The map itself also contains curious details. In the Atlantic Ocean, Piri Reis marked various islands as some real, some unknown, and even drew strange creatures resembling sea monsters. In his notes, he mentioned that the creatures were drawn according to the sailors' tales. Yet, among the mythical drawings, the geography remained eerily precise. Adding to the intrigue, Piri Reis didn't stop with one map. In 1528, he drew a second world map, fragments of which also survive. That one, too, showed the Western Hemisphere in surprising accuracy. But the Piri Reis map's mysterious power lies not only in what it shows, but what it suggests, that humanity's understanding of the world might stretch far deeper into the past than we dare to believe. Some historians argue that the accuracy of the map could be explained through luck or coincidence, that Piri Reis might have simply combined multiple charts into a rough approximation. But even they admit, the odds of achieving that level of accuracy by chance are incredibly low. And then there's the mystery of the lost sources. In his writings, Piri Reis claimed to have used maps from the time of Alexander the Great, meaning around 300 BCE and even older, drawn in the days of the ancient kings. None of these supposed maps have ever been found. It's as if they vanished, leaving only the Piri Reis map as their last surviving echo. Even modern scientists who have tried to digitally reconstruct the original layout of the map find that it lines up too neatly with modern coastlines to be an accident. Some even suspect that ancient cultures may have had ways to measure longitude, a problem that wasn't solved in Europe until the 18th century. In 1960, a team from the U.S. Navy Hydrographic Office analyzed the Piri Reis map once again, and concluded that it was mathematically accurate, representing a projection that could only be produced by aerial or high-altitude mapping. But how could anyone in 1513 have achieved that without satellites, airplanes, or even telescopes? This led to a new wave of wild theories, that perhaps, in some unimaginable way, knowledge of the world had once been observed from above via broken bar and passed down through generations before being lost to time. Of course, no definitive proof exists for these claims, and the mystery remains unsolved. But one fact is certain: the Piri Reis map should not exist, at least not with the knowledge it contains. Over 500 years after its creation, this single piece of parchment continues to challenge our understanding of history, geography, and human civilization itself. Perhaps, buried in some forgotten archive, the other ancient maps Piri Reis spoke of still await discovery, ready to reveal even greater secrets about the world we thought we knew. Until then, the Piri Reis map remains one of history's most tantalizing puzzles, a relic that whispers of lost knowledge, ancient explorers, and civilizations that may have charted the world long before we believed they could. Okay,